members have had a chance to review, I would entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Minutes are approved. Item number 1 is approval of professional services agreement with Electric Machine Control for engineering, installation, and programming of a remote terminal unit at Lift Station 77. The total is $36,185. Kimberly, welcome.
Thank you. This one is for Lift Station 77. This is Barrett's Trace. If you recall, we took over that station and we received funds to support the station to get it up to specifications. So this $36,000 will come out of the money that the developer gave to us to help get this station up to speed with the SCADA system. So it's $36,185.
I don't have any.
Remind, how much money did that developer give us
I believe it was $50,000.
Okay.
Okay.
when we accepted it, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Questions for Kimberly? Would entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 1 is approved. Item number 2 is approval of a minor public works contract with DSL Electric for installation of an automatic transfer switch to Lift Station 49. The total is $8,197. Kimberly.
So this is with DSL, and this transfer switch is to automatically transfer to generator power when we lose power. And so this is funded out of Fletcher's operations account, and it's $8,197, and this one is for Lift Station 49.
Questions?
Motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say
Aye.
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 Item number 2 is approved. Item number 3 is approval of a minor public works contract with DSL Electric for installation of automatic transfer switch to lift station number 35. The total is $8,214.
This is for the same thing, but at Lift Station 35. The amount's slightly different. It's $8,214, and this one is also funded out of Fletcher's outside services account, or operations account.
Questions?
Is it just coincidence those come needing to be, have new ones installed at the same time, or do we,
Well, we're just
do
going
we
out
do
and
it
doing
every 3
doing
years?
inspections and different things like that. Ones that don't have them, or if we're adding generators to them, or if they're, some of the smaller lift stations will have a generator, like a portable generator, so this would be to where we could just bring a generator up and connect to it.
Motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 3 is approved. Item number 4 is acknowledging contents of the 2023 Municipal Water Pollution Prevention Annual Report. It's a lot of words. To ADM for the Hillard Fletcher Water Resource Recovery Facility. Kimberly?
This is an annual report that basically takes all of our data that we report monthly to ADM, and it compiles it in one consolidated report and gives it, and we get a numerical score, and the lower the score, the better. So we've been lowering our score through pretty good the last few years, and so last year's score was 236, and this year we are down to 193. There's a small
Less
yeah,
is
there's a
better.
couple slides.
That's right.
Yes.
Less is better.
Yes, less
That's
is
good.
better. So we should have just a couple slides on it. And so this is showing an 18% overall improvement in our score from last year to this year. And that this is a score of the collection system and the treatment plant itself. The biggest reason that the score is lower is because this is the lowest number of SSOs that we've had in the last 10 years. So we're at 43. We had 43 this previous year, and the year before that for the 2022 report, we had 68. So that's the biggest reductions coming from the SSOs, the reduction in SSOs.
What accounts for that?
Preventative maintenance type things that we're doing, CCTV, the SL RAP programs that we do, scoring of the lines, preventative maintenance instead of just reactive maintenance. So we've been trying to do a lot more preventative things where we were in a reactive mode for many years.
Do I remember some of that's rain-based as well?
Yes, sir. Some is rain-based, but we've also made improvements out in the lift stations, like at lift station 21, we have the tank that's out there. Lift station 55, this year's score will be helped because of lift station 10. So it's different projects that are also coming online.
Okay, and is there a passing grade?
No, it's just a reporting, we just report it, but no.
But 193 is, we're well in the clear.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's a great score.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we also get certain points that we're guaranteed to always get for the age of the facility. So it's not points, you could never get down to zero. Yeah.
So I was gonna ask, is there a intended number that you would like to see us get to?
I mean, obviously, we would love to have zero SSOs and zero any violations on our permit limits and things like that. But realistically, I mean, we're just trying to improve every year and see what we can do year by year with the different measures from a preventative standpoint that we can help with the numbers all the way around, from the plant, from the effluent that leaves the plant, and then also from the SSOs out in the system.
Okay.
And then we do expect to see, I guess the next slide. Yeah, we do expect to see some more improvements in the score next year with some of the major projects that we have at the plant, which would help when you do a major renovation at the plant. You can lessen the points in that as well. And so we believe that the projects that we're doing, which the plant head works, the bar screens, the digesters, aeration basin, the different things that we're doing will help. And so in the next couple of years, we hope to see a further decrease in that due to the things that we're actually, the projects and stuff that we're investing in the plant.
So right now, your expectation when you stand up here the next year is we would have more improvement.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
that's good.
And so this request, the item is just, it's authorization to submit to ADM.
Last question. We calculate this
Well, it's,
and
Yeah.
submit it, or they
yeah,
evaluate?
it's a report, and you have certain scores for certain things, and it tells you which box to check to give you which point values and things like that.
Okay.
So if you have like 43 SSOs, which is what we had, I could flip to that page real quick. There's a certain number of points that you get, I wish I could tell you this. Well, like for instance, the age of the plant from the last renovation is 19 years since the last renovation, so we got 38 points for that. The bypassing and overflows. So on this one, we got 105 points for the bypassing and overflows. That's the SSO piece of it. So, and that is because we had there, when you add several things together, we got this total number of 20. So the more we can reduce that, then the lower the number will be.
Okay. Well, it sounds like a good job. Motion.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor say aye.
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 Item number 4 is approved. Item number 5 is approval of a right-of-way use permit for Nucor Steel Tuscaloosa. Mike?
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Nucor Steel is requesting to place some wayfinding signs or directional signs for shipping and receiving to their plant out on Jack Warner Parkway. It's in the packet.
This is typically the kind of thing we do.
I can't slip through slides. You don't have slides?
We've got pictures of it, Mike.
Okay, I apologize. I thought you'd gotten the slides. So it's real simple. Just beyond the plant entrance that we're all familiar with at the street intersection, as you continue east on down Jack Warner, they want to place a sign for any trucks heading eastbound or westbound, directing them to turn at that next intersection, which is there by Air Gas. The signs will be installed according to ALDOT standards for signage. And we're also asking Nucor to maintain the signs to good condition at the discretion of the city engineer. So if they start to fade, we'll notify them and say, we need y'all to dress your signs up. And we recommend approval of this right-of-way use request.
Questions?
So moved.
Second.
Moving seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 5 is approved. Item number 6 is approval for the selection of Ward Scott Morris Architects for Gateway Renovations Project and authorization to negotiate scope and fee. Tim?
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So we issued a request for qualifications for renovations at the Gateway Building. We received 6 responses, and we are recommending Ward Scott for this renovation work. We feel like Ward Scott, they're one of 2 local firms. They're, of course, the original design team for the building, and we feel like we would get the best pricing out of Ward Scott.
Questions?
When you're looking at that, Tim, what are the 2 or 3 top things that you're looking at to evaluate?
So we're looking at similar projects that any firm has done like this in the past. So we're looking at A technology center, we're looking for a firm that's got experience doing, something similar, something in the same kind of general population area as well. That's the, their history, their, they also provide references. Sometimes we check those references as well. We can contact various entities they've done work for in the past, talk to them about how their progress went with their projects, and so we evaluate kind of all of those things.
Okay, so you're requesting authorization to negotiate scope and fee with Ward Scott Morris?
Yes, sir. And once we received a proposal, we would of course bring that back here for project committee approval.
Okay.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 6 is approved. Item number 7 is approval of professional services contract with Warrior Security for as-needed technical services, total not to exceed $10,000. Jason, welcome.
Thanks, sir. Good afternoon. This is for as-needed services with Warrior Security. They pull network lines for us in places where it's either unsafe or impractical for us to do it in-house. We used them last year for a not to exceed contract, and that year is up that we originally did it for, so we're just coming back with another one.
Okay, was it same 10 up to 10,000?
I believe last year it was slightly more, but we had a larger project that we had on the horizon. This is more of just to have available if someone needs it.
All right, I don't have any other questions.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 7 is approved. Item number 8 is approval of professional services contract with Tyler Technologies for PACE training and assessments, total $12,525. Jason?
Yes, sir. This is an agreement with Tyler Technologies, who makes our ERP system. This is for training as well as to have them come in and assess the way our business practices, basically the way we are using the ERP system for a couple of different modules, align with kind of the modern recommendations. For
What
the
is
software.
ERP and what is PACE?
ERP is our system that does all of our financial, human resources, payroll, water and utility billing system.
And
PACE is just what they call their training program. So this includes 6 days of training over a 1-year period, as well as assessment of those business practices. So that, things, we've been using this software for over 20 years. This is kind of,
Who gets the training, Jason? Is it y'all or is it accounting and finance? or-
This particular one will both be for water and sewer and for human resources. And the price on this is split between the three of us, IT, HR, and water and sewer.
And is this your portion or is this all of
This
it?
is all three together.
Okay.
Yes.
How many people, did you say how many people would be trained?
It is 6 days worth, so there's no
So it's
maximum number.
However
of
you need to
people.
send.
However we need to send,
Okay.
yes.
perfect. Other
Motion.
questions?
Second.
Motion.
Second.
Moved second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 8 is approved. Item number 9 is approval. Professional services contract with Red Point Audio. The total is $50,000. Richard, you want to join Jason?
Sure.
Here we go.
Welcome.
You want me to go? Okay. This is for Red Point Audio. They're a local firm here in town. This is for service and maintenance of all of our conference rooms and incident command rooms for the audio-visual component. So that would be the council chambers, this room, the Harrison Taylor Incident Command, 2 other conference rooms in the city, Fire Administration's Incident Command, and PD's Incident Command. And this is just for support and maintenance. This is a budgeted expense and expected expense, and this falls in our budget.
And it's in your budget?
Yes, sir.
Questions?
Dr. Rush is over AV. It's in my budget. Kind of share it.
So just give me an example. For example, the council chambers.
If while we were broadcasting council, let's say one of the hardware components failed, they would then come on site and repair, replace, make sure it's back up and running. Or if this feed to Facebook did not work, they would come on site and troubleshoot.
So, okay, so they're not the people sitting in the back turning knobs?
No, sir. They're just there to maintain all the hardware.
They're there if the hardware doesn't work
Yes, sir.
properly?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Okay. I don't have any other questions.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 9 is approved. Item number 10 is a resolution authorizing contract negotiation with Volker Inc. for disaster debris monitoring services. Ms. Standridge, welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon, council.
Afternoon.
Hello.
In February of this year, Eric Thompson brought a contract approval to the committee for consideration for debris removal in case of a federally declared disaster or emergency. A companion piece to that contract is this debris monitoring service. If we would like to get any reimbursement from the federal government for any of those disaster-related expenditures, debris monitoring will be required. We released an RFP for this service about a month and a half ago. We received 4 responses back. The grading team has selected Volker to start negotiating for the fee structure of this contract. There is going to be no amount expended until it's needed for the disaster that's declared.
Okay, so these are the guys sitting up in the tower, looking down in the truck, going, "Yep, that's a full load."
That is one part of the monitoring services, that they will be looking into the trucks to make sure that the trucks are full, that there's certain amounts going in for dumping and tipping fee calculations, but they're also going to be on the ground making sure that what's going into the truck is what's also being recorded and monitored.
Okay,
The reason why it has to be recorded is during a disaster.
No, you have to have the pre-event package to get the reimbursement, and
all
without
that-
the monitor, it doesn't matter what they bring in.
That's right, and so we have to check all those boxes to make certain that we can get the reimbursements depending upon the rates at different times during the presidential declaration, disaster declaration.
Is the Volker representative on the contract here?
I don't see him. Lee is here.
Lee's here, but I don't know that he's, was that Jonathan?
It was Jonathan.
Yeah.
Jonathan will be the project manager for the
Yeah.
lead.
So how do we pay them, Ms. Standridge?
So when they're actually working, we will be expending through our own city funds, and then we will file whatever we pay to the federal government.
But we're paying by vol, I'm assuming we're paying by volume. We're paying the trucks that are bringing it in
So
by volume, right?
that's for the actual debris removal corporation.
Right, but the people sitting in the tower, I assume we're paying them by volume also?
I might ask Hudson. I'm sure that's probably the negotiated, contract by contract. We haven't negotiated fee yet with them. This is authorizing us to begin that negotiation.
Oh,
for
okay,
fee.
all right. I'm good with beginning that negotiation. Have we used them before? We've had pre-event
Our-
contracts in place before, right?
No, we've never had this kind of contract in place before on an as-needed basis. We have contracted for debris monitoring services during the April 2011 tornado, but that was with a completely different company. And that was not.
And that was not
ahead
part of a
time.
pre-event contract?
Correct.
Okay, well, I'm fine authorizing to begin negotiations. That's what we're approving. Motion.
Second.
Carly, can I ask one question?
Absolutely, yes, sir.
This is all about just being prepared, correct,
Yes, sir.
for the future?
This is for when something does happen. And this is for when something does happen, we're not going to be working on procurement requirements at the time. We're going to be
It's
worried about
already
actually picking up the debris.
Correct.
And so that we can go ahead and get the administrative piece out of the way while we're still clear-headed and we're not working in emergency mode.
And you're in a much better negotiating position before
Absolutely.
there's a disaster
That was,
rather than after. And I think, Mayor, you were about to allude, the reimbursement is connected to those events being put in place pre-disaster and being rebid, I think, every 3 years.
I think that this
There
is a 3-year renegotiation.
I don't know if it's 3 or 5, but there's a fresh date on those. How many fingers are you holding up, Eric? 3. I don't remember, it still works every day. So, yeah. All right,
Got
motion
a
to approve.
Second, yeah. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 10 is approved. Item number 11 is authorization for the mayor to execute a professional services contract with Evidence IQ. Totals $22,499.
I'm not
You're
Chief
not
Rice.
Chief Rice.
Chief Rice was heavily saddened when he learned that I would be able to do this today and he wouldn't be with y'all. He will somehow make it through the day.
Would you let him know, please, the committee is saying?
I will, you know, he's interesting.
Is he home safely?
Yes, he is home from Thailand, so he loves to be back in the United States.
That's all right.
But this is a professional contract with Evidence IQ. This money will be coming out of the Cloverdale grant for our forensics unit, and what it is basically a piece of machinery that where we have to put in one shell casing at a time now. This will allow multiple shell casings to be put in and examined at one time, so it'll help hopefully cure some of our backlog that we have in our forensics areas.
Where's the money coming from?
Cloverdale grant.
Cloverdale grant?
Yes, sir. It's the grant that Director Rector got that we get a lot of our machinery and stuff out of for that unit.
You already have it, right, Chief?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So,
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 11 is approved. Item number 12 is approval of change order number 1 with Harrison Construction for the Benjamin Barnes YMCA construction project. The total is $396,998.99. Lee, welcome.
Welcome. Good afternoon.
Yes,
good afternoon.
This work is associated with additional parking lot modifications to the existing McDonald Hughes Community Center in an effort to recoup some of the parking that was lost due to the construction of the Benjamin Barnes YMCA project. We worked with Mike and his team in-house and have been able to add potentially, if approved, 25 spaces to the McDonald Hughes parking lot, which would increase that capacity to 73 spaces. We've also incorporated a sidewalk that would adjoin the Shelton State overflow parking that is just south of McDonald Hughes campus, and there's 120 spaces there that could be accessed to the McDonald Hughes Center. And lastly, the Benjamin Barnes YMCA will have 45 total spaces. That being said, 45 spaces on the YMCA, the 73 spaces for the McDonald Hughes parking lot reconfiguration, and then the added sidewalk to traverse to Shelton State, the 120 spaces would total 238 spaces at this.
We feel like I know that was a big concern when we first started talking about this, was the spaces that were being lost. So this project offsets that and kind of adds
Yes.
some space to it. Do you think that's gonna, I'm assuming y'all assume that will be adequate?
Well, the answer to parking spots is always never enough, right?
Sure.
But with the real estate that we have, this is I guess this is the most adequate way to go about it.
Best configuration, right?
Yes, sir.
What you can do, okay?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
can you refresh my memory on what was the total spaces that were kind of absorbed in the construction? Do we know that?
I believe we lost close to
90.
about 90 parking spots.
Yep. 90 were lost.
Yes,
So
sir.
how many parking spots were there before the construction?
There were about 120, 120, 125.
So, and we lost 90, but we
Yes.
now
yes,
have a total of 238.
Yes.
I think that's pretty decent.
Yes. And we have spoken with Mr. Davis and Mr. McAway at the McDonald Hughes Center, and we have a sequence of construction that we would implement that would not impact them in their operations as well. And we've received scopes of their schedule for the summer,
That's good.
and meetings and events that they have. So we have their event schedule. The sidewalk will also, and the parking lot will also incorporate security cameras, site lighting, and we've coordinated those efforts with City IT and TPD. So it's going to be all integrated.
Okay. And thank you for coordinating that with the McDonald Hughes Center, because I know that they have
Yes,
had
we,
some growing pains while they.
that was something we implemented in our pre-construction agenda at the kickoff for the Benjamin Barnes project. Was their activity schedule that we have to be mindful of.
Will there ever be times where there are two activities going on at different sites at the same time?
As far as when the YMCA
Does
is
the YMCA
completed
move-
and.
Yeah, when the YMCA is completed, the McDonald Hughes is having something.
I'm quite certain it's a possibility.
I'm quite certain too. I mean, realistically, I don't see how that wouldn't be a possibility. But, we are in a need of accommodations and amenities for our youth, and I'm so happy that we can accommodate at this location. But then a parking situation for the McDonald Hughes Center has not just started.
Right.
There has been a long-standing parking situation for the McDonald Hughes Center. So, I mean, like, yes, I mean, and the McDonald Hughes Center is known for hosting big parties and events. So parking has always been, as a matter of fact, when I first started community policing, when I revamped that for the city, my first event at the McDonald Hughes Center, we were across the street on the street. Yeah, it was a mess. So parking has always been an issue, and I think that this accommodates the McDonald Hughes Center and the Benjamin Barnes YMCA better than it was before. So I'm thankful for it. I wish we had some better renderings of the sidewalk, but I'm very thankful for how y'all are trying to accommodate
Yes, ma'am.
both situations.
By folding the Fred campus in, that's probably the best solution, isn't it? To
Oh, yeah.
fold
Oh, yeah,
everybody in.
yes.
Because that's gonna give us the most
Right.
possible
Huh.
parking.
More parking you
That's right.
Yes,
That's
yes.
right.
And I don't know about the Fred campus, but I know that they have been willing to accommodate for years with our parking situation, and most of the times they're not open when some of these events are being held.
And Hera will have to work with McDonald Hughes on a case-by-case basis, with Shelton State Fred Campus on a case-by-case basis. It's also important to note that when we move forward with Benjamin Barnes, using both our placer technology and the data provided by Hera, that the available parking at the time met about 95% of the time the needs at the McDonald Hughes Center and
Okay.
Benjamin Barnes. So the overflow parking issues, you wouldn't be able to build enough parking to meet those large events like Ms. Howard you have, or several events that I've been there where you would have to take away from the McDonald Hughes Center to be able to accommodate those major events that are held there.
One more
Other,
question.
other questions, yes, sir?
Go ahead.
Just one quick observation, because we do have a lot of handicapped people that will be parking, how will we accommodate with handicap parking accessibilities?
Handicap
Yes, sir.
is required. ADA spaces are implemented into the design of the Benjamin Barnes YMCA parking lot, as well as the renovations to the McDonald Hughes parking lot that was designed by in-house by the city.
All right.
And also the sidewalk that will span down to the Shelton State overflow is ADA compliant in width and in slope.
Okay.
Mr. Busby?
Yeah, how much sidewalk is that?
Sidewalk is roughly it is 5 feet wide, and it's roughly 400 feet long.
400 feet of sidewalk? And 25 extra spaces?
The sidewalk will
400,000
gain you access to 120 spaces.
Give you access to, but
Yes.
what we're adding here is 25 more spaces, right?
Yes, there
And
is.
about 400 feet of sidewalk to get to Shelton State, where there are already another 120 parking spaces.
That's
Is that
correct.
right?
Yes, sir. There's an existing landscape curb island in the McDonald Hughes parking lot that has to be demolished in order to make room for these additional 25 spaces at McDonald Hughes. And there's storm drain existing storm drain modifications that have to coincide, and I think a couple trees that have to come down as well.
All right. It would be helpful in the future if we could just have
Big picture.
some eye candy to look at so we could just see it rather than ask.
Lee, can I ask you one more question?
Yes, sir.
Are we, this change, and I know we're gonna talk about another change on 13 and potentially down the road on 14, but where are we of managing this budget for this project?
Both
Within
of
budget.
these changes can be absorbed within the project budget that we have established now.
Okay. Any other questions from committee members or councilmen and women? I would entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 12 is approved. Item number 13 is approval of contract amendment number 2 to the professional services agreement with Chambliss King Architects for the Benjamin Barnes YMCA project. The total is not to exceed $11,500. Lee?
Yes, sir. This is a not to exceed amount for professional services to TTL for resident observation and material testing of the added scope of work for the topic we just discussed. We have professional services bundled up under Chambliss King Architects for the YMCA project, and it just made sense to us to add the McDonald Hughes resident observation scope of services to that existing contract. Like I said, this is a not to exceed amount of $11,500, and there are no other professional services fees desired by Volkert, Chambliss King, or any other design professional for this added scope of work related to the McDonald Hughes parking lot.
Question?
But it is mandatory that we do concrete testing, subgrade compaction.
Is that because the federal dollars improved? Is that because of the funding? Is there federal funding?
Yes.
That's why you have to do that extra test.
Well, it's just, we have to do the testing in order to make sure we make design criteria.
Yeah.
So,
I got you.
So what will you be testing? The resident testing, what is that?
Concrete.
concrete testing, earthwork, and to make sure we have the required compaction and density before we put down stone base in the parking lot. And just to make sure that
Okay.
materials have been properly installed.
Oh, I understand. Oh, okay, I got it.
Other questions? Entertain motion.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 13 is approved.
And
Thank
I
you.
wanna, this is the picture, right?
Yes,
Or is it?
yes.
Okay,
That's what I said.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lee. After conversations with staff, I would like to ask that item number 14 be tabled.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 14 is tabled.
For how long, Mr. Charlie?
We need to get through, can we do 3 weeks?
3 weeks.
Because we're off 1 week.
Yeah,
We're off one, make it 4 then, please.
4 weeks, got it.
4 weeks. Is there any other business to be brought before this committee? If not, our next committee meeting is next Tuesday, May the 21st. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.